Thank you. Thank you. Muchas gracias. I came only with one little slide. I've got 7 minutes. And I have completely redone my speech as I've listened to all the speakers before me. And they had so much interesting things to say that I've restructured it. That is to say, we Latin Americans are not as structured as you North Americans, but that has an advantage, flexibility. Can you please put, yes, you've got it there. All right, let me start off this way. What you see there are the titles being handed out by the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, FARC, the Shining Path, and the Amazon. And what I just wanted to tell you is that they're doing God's work. They're doing what you should be doing, which is understanding that out there in the circus outside the United States, it's not about Islam, it's not about, it is about tribes. And it has to do with suicide as well, which is that they realized, in a way, what Julian Simon said, which is they've been defeated so much, first of all, in the Americas, got rid of Castroism, isolated it, now so far in an island called Cuba, and another part in another island which will soon fall, I guess, which is Venezuela. But essentially, what they've realized is the following thing. Think of the world as an egg. Think of energy, which Kent was talking about before, right? And where you have the energy is in the center of the egg, which is a golden yolk. Now, in the States, you don't think about it too much because once you get the egg, you get the egg. But in the rest of the world, the egg is a different reality from the eggshell. Because the way you're going to get at the depth of the water, the way you're going to get the oil, the coal, the petroleum, the gas that fuels and helps things run is you got to pierce the eggshell. In other words, in the rest of the world, aside from the United States, and only in some places as far as I know, owning the eggshell is very different from owning the yolk. So if wherever you go now in the former Soviet Union and developing countries, all those issues that you see where you're fighting a bunch of small tribes in different countries are essentially people that are taking over the eggshell. Because if they are able to get the eggshell, once they do that, the majority of those people, the 80% that we've talked about, are there. And all they have to say is, once you own the eggshell, and I'm going to title you, you are then going to be able to get at the yolk, and we're in power. So I come back. What we've been doing over the last years, it's been some time since I've been in Washington, D.C., and can we come back to the drawings again, is that all over the world, people have got ledgers. They've got ledgers where they since 1989, where communism was defeated, they've got ledgers in which it is quite clear who owns what of the topsoil. What they don't have is ledgers that give them rights at a global level. That is to say, rights that can travel. And so the question, and you know that, I mean, in this country, when you're starting to talk about tokens, is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme or is there value behind it? You know that value, that's what Julian Simon knew, is not something that you can see. He was a metaphysician. He saw beyond physics. Value is, as Marx said, something that can only be captured in your brain. That's why he said capital comes from the word capita, which comes from the word head. And what you have done in the United States that is astounding is that you've been able to put all the resources of the earth in securities, in titles. Everything that gets you in someplace in the United States comes from a tag. I just got into this country And when somebody asked me, "You look familiar," I said, "Yes, my name is Hernando de Soto. I come from Peru, and that's south of the Rio Grande, and this and this." He said, just show me your passport. Everything you do is in a token, in a symbol. Everything you fight about is done on papers because ideas only travel in tokens. And all I wanted to say was, these guys are ahead of us. So when you talked about the suicide of the West, I said, he's right. I haven't read your book yet, but he's right. So that being said, I just want to tell you that one of the reasons I'm back in this country and looking around for associates is because we're in contact with all the people that are suffering these wars in different parts. And blockchain is important because blockchain is a way of rapidly, massively handling paper. Facebook is important. I used to be able to reach in Peru maximum 10,000 people at a time in a square. The first time I tried Facebook, we're 30 million Peruvians, of which 18 million have Facebook accounts. I can now get to all of them and tell them, you need paper. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to cross borders. And Facebook, Google is important because now you can catch the whole world. So you've got the technology. What you have to remember is Julian Simon, who said that the ingenuity of mankind is its number one resource, and that the reason that you can get to it is because people are titled through property. And that's one of mankind's greatest achievements. And I want to thank you very much. The bad news is we're losing. The good news is we become aware, thanks to people like you, we can win this new war, which isn't against communism. It's a war against underdevelopment. Thank you very much.